What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Football Chatbox. My name is Ryan, and welcome to the Game Week 38 podcast episode number 113. And today I'm joined by a very special guest. The final three, basically, of I had this Australian content creator end down. Started with Chaza, then with Mira, and now the one and only FPL SideNet Peterson, one half of the FPL SideNet crew. How are you doing, Pete?
What a lovely introduction. Thanks, Ryan. I'm doing really well, but I wanted to ask how you were going, and then you were like, "Hold that thought. We're gonna go live because big cup final tomorrow morning."
Indeed, big cup. I'm wearing my jacket today. I will be doing a watch along stream as well. So if anyone wants to come and see me just sweating buckets,
it's gonna be like those ones that go
go horribly wrong or something.
Yeah.
Hopefully, let's hope not. I was, talking about watch along stream. I was, for the Leon game, I was like thinking, should I do a watch along stream of the Leon game?
Oh, that'd be nuts.
Oh, that would have been insane because 2-0 up was like, oh, superb. And then they conceded. I was like, oh my days. At one point, I was thinking of closing my stream. Once they took the lead, I was like, what is happening? And then they got a penalty. I was like, oh, hold the phone.
That was one of the wildest games I've seen for a very long time because it went very fast because I was obviously a lot of my mates are United supporters and like the banter was like fast and furious and then it was just like, oh no. A lot of us had to eat our words.
Delete.
Yeah. Retract.
But yeah, it was pretty good that game. But like this one, I don't know, like our form in Europe has been so opposite to what's in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like we've scored like 35 goals or something in Europa League, whereas we haven't. I don't think we've scored even half of that. Like the last 20 in the league. So it's been that bad in the league. But we haven't played a Premier League side till yet. Like now, although we've played a few decent teams. I know people like online. I was like, oh, the Europa League is shit because the teams are not that great. Well, we did play against Atletico Bilbao and put 7 past them.
Yeah.
Whereas they hadn't even conceded like 3 or 4 in La Liga till then. So the only thing is because we're playing a Premier League side, and add to that we're playing Spurs who had our number, and just happens to have United's number for some reason. We haven't been able to beat. I don't think we've beaten Spurs under Ange. And that last game obviously came very close to Spurs bottling it as well in that like 4-3 game.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm very nervous compared to previous like Europa League finals that we've been in. Because I just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. It's so like you could toss a coin.
Exactly.
Anything can happen tomorrow, but like I do think you actually like while we're talking Europa, United have actually been really solid in Europa. Like they seem to manage that. Amarim seems to manage that competition really well.
Yeah,
and so like you said, like you've had really high caliber of opponents and seem to. I mean, that Leon game was
that was a
rails.
That was a mental game, if anything. Yeah.
But you need luck on these cup runs. You always need luck.
Yeah. That's very true. Because like end of the day, if you've seen like even Champions League, right? We've had times when like even when Real Madrid have won it, they haven't been the best team in the tournament at some points when they won it. Even this Champions League final, PSG were on the verge of getting knocked out of the group stage, and now they're in the final. So you kind of definitely need luck to end up in the situation you're in. But I guess the nervous part is we don't know what both teams are going to do. Like both teams have been so bad in the league that you have no clue what they're going to do. And to give Spurs credit as well, they also beat like Frankfurt were probably expected to beat Spurs. That was not an easy game for them. They managed to beat them. Bodo Glimt have actually managed to knock quite a few big teams on their way out. So they managed to comfortably beat them as well. So I mean, Ange has done pretty well, but who knows? This might be his last Spurs game as well. Potentially.
I had some friends at work saying to me, "Oh, you probably want Ange to win because he's Australian." I was like, "No, I'm a Chelsea fan. Like, I don't want, like, no offense, Spurs fans. I don't want Spurs to win. But it's Ange. I'm like, I love Ange, but like, you have to understand what's at stake here."
Like the whole Oh, Spurs don't win trophies. Imagine if we go and give them a trophy. Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to be that team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to wear this outside. But like, yeah, too nervous to be honest. But
yeah,
hopefully they turn up. But we'll see.
yeah. It's gonna be a fun. I'll be hate watching the final tomorrow morning. So I've set the alarm. And
But who are you hate watching against? Because you don't want Spurs to win, but at the same time you don't like to see United winning.
I know. Maybe I'll be on Mason Mount watch for one night. So
probably. Fair enough. I
Yeah.
hope he has like a good final. Let's see. We'll see. But yeah, okay. So that's the Europa League.
Stream's over. Thanks everyone for joining us
I know,
tonight.
exactly. Thank you everyone. Shout out obviously to the chat. Freddie, Sandri, Andy, Nick. Welcome everyone. And Tiger as well. Welcome. Tiger says United will win 2-0.
Ooh,
fingers crossed. Let's hope so. All right. So let's have a look at fixtures. But before we start on fixtures, I wanted to bring this graphic out. So this is the Game Week 38 final day fireworks from Rob T. The graphic on the left. The tiny table on the right was one I made. Basically went on SofaScore, went and looked at the last 5 seasons and counted the goals home and away. And basically, it kind of shows that the home teams generally tend to score overall as a collective. There are more goals at home compared to away. And I guess the big scorelines you see here as well, out of these 3, 4, 5 fixtures, the big 5-0s, 4 of them are actually from home sides.
Yeah, and we were saying before we went to air, I pointed out that Crystal Palace Villa result from last season, Villa had sealed Champions League qualification midweek because there was FA Cup fixtures, like league fixtures to be made up. And I remember they were having their Player of the Year awards when they found out that they had Champions League qualification guaranteed, and they were just on the drink for like 2 days. Like John McGinn was partying for days. So they went into that game with absolutely nothing to play for. They were still partying.
Yeah. So context is somewhat important.
Context.
Yep. So we'll obviously apply that to this set of games as well. So let's get into the games. Now, I think compared to previous seasons, this season for some reason feels like there are way more games that have a lot going on in terms of, I think, European races as well. So obviously I guess Fulham versus Man City are kind of okay now since they beat Bournemouth. But you've got obviously Man United versus Aston Villa. It would be a very important game for Aston Villa. Obviously, they have to win. Newcastle versus Everton, again, similarly important game for Champions League. Forest versus Chelsea is basically whoever wins UCL, the other one's Conference League effectively, or you never know, Europa League as well potentially, depending on Chelsea's situation. And then obviously there is a potential place for 8th as well, which obviously won't be guaranteed. But the teams that are vying for that kind of have to play and hope that things go their way. So like the likes of Brentford, the likes of Brighton, they probably still would want to get something as well. So overall thoughts before we go game by game?
Yeah, well, I was looking at all the fixtures like earlier today and like trying to think of like strategies and various things. And I sort of like divide them into like 3 separate baskets. So I sort of had the like do not touch basket. I had the vibes basket, and I had the, everything to play for basket. So in the everything to play for basket, I put United and Villa because that's the game Villa has to win. Like it doesn't matter what happens, they just have to win, and then they still have to hope for things to go their way. So I had that one. I had the Newcastle Everton game in that basket as well because similar, they need 3 points, they're through. So they're definitely teams that, if you're invested in, you're definitely starting them. If you're looking for investment, they're the teams to look at. And then the vibes one is where we might see some of those really crazy score lines. I like to highlight, that Bournemouth Leicester one, looking at the projected stats there, like 2.4 goals for Bournemouth, like that one could be fun. And I know Evan Nielsen is on a lot of tip of a lot of tongues at the moment. And Do you think actually? Because I saw so Clivett came off early.
Yeah.
Today, I'm not sure if he was injured or if it was a tactical thing, but there's obviously something there. But have we seen Bournemouth take a penalty without Clivett on the pitch since Evan Nilsson missed the first batch of penalties?
Probably not. I don't think they've
Yeah,
received a penalty. But I
yeah,
think he might still go back to Evan Nilsson if that's the case.
that would be my
Potentially.
thought.
Yeah. He is the striker, right? End of the day. So you'd
Yeah,
expect him to go back to him.
yeah,
If Clivett got a full 90, I would have been somewhat interested with Clivett because we've
yeah,
seen
same.
massive returns from him in like single game weeks before.
Yeah, that's right.
So I would have definitely been interested with him as an option. But I guess Evan Nilsson obviously now is probably the best Bournemouth option. Followed behind maybe like Kirkes is not a bad shot as well.
Yeah,
From if anyone now, obviously, I think it was who mentioned Freddie mentioned Saliba is out injured for a couple weeks apparently.
yeah,
So yeah, anyone looking for like a Arsenal replacement and don't want to go Kivio, maybe you could also go Kirkes as a replacement if needed. I also might hunt. I mentioned special mention to Tavernier.
yeah. True.
Tends to have a knack of finding some returns.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer. Yeah, like you said, if Clivett had played the 90 today or even like 80 plus, like he would have been top of the wish list there. But even Semenyo is the type of player that like sees the goal and just shoots all the time. So he's actually quite a fun own to have. And in this match against Leicester, they're just
True. The only because usually I prefer to back against him because he takes so many shots, but they're not effective shots.
No, they're not.
So I'm happy to back against him in most cases. But Leicester have been so bad that maybe like even if they're not effective, they'll probably go in.
Yeah, he's going to be getting a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
I dare say. But yeah, also like looking at these fixtures and those numbers, like the Liverpool Crystal Palace game. So we saw Palace sort of do their big FA Cup trophy presentation today, and that sort of felt like it was their last game of the season. Like there was a lot of emotion in the grounds, and
it's the final home game as well, right?
Yeah, final home game, and Mateta had the GoPro out again, so lots of fun and
the only
vibes
useful
there.
thing he's done since he's come back from his injury.
Actually, I saw he was playing without the ear protection today when he came on. So yeah, anyway, not that that's really important, but that game. I mean, so many of us still own Salah.
Yes, and have a triple captaincy chip.
Yeah,
and the bus team triple captain is on a certain Mo Salah.
I like it
because he's managed to do what he usually does after signing a contract. It's either after signing a contract or after AFCON. One of the two. And next season we have AFCON, by the way. So I should mention anyone who has don't buy Salah after AFCON. It's just not good. But he's done the same thing again. He's just disappeared.
But
he should have scored in that last, like how he missed, I have no idea. The same thing with KDB.
Yeah.
How they missed, I have no clue. Open goal. But if he wants to break this record, where he needs to get at least 2 goal involvements, let's say he gets a goal and an assist. That's 8 points there. 2 points for appearance, 10 points. Maybe takes like
probably
2 or 3 bonus as well. 13 points. I'll take 13 points from a normal captain. Yeah. If he doesn't break it, unlucky. He doesn't break it. So that's why I've got spoiler bus captain on him for that pure reason, to see if he's willing to try and put as much as effort as possible into trying breaking that record. And maybe Liverpool should kind of assist in trying to break him, like help him break that record, because there's nothing else for them to play for.
True. Yeah. I wonder if they'll be really looking for him, especially like if it's the second half, he still hasn't got his return, or he needs one more, and they're just trying to pass the ball to him to get the goals.
As long as Darwin Núñez is not on the pitch.
Darwin Núñez couldn't do it if he tried. He'd probably do it by accident, actually.
Probably. So, yeah, I mean, Liverpool, apart from Salah, though, do you think there are other Liverpool assets that could become options?
I don't know. I just wouldn't be confident with the minutes, especially seeing as it's the last home game. They'll be doing the big trophy celebration, so they'll probably want to give as many players the opportunity to sort of clap and walk off the
okay.
field. So we already know. I think Slot already said McAllister isn't playing in this game. Chiesa, I know Chiesa started the other day against Brighton. Whether or not he starts again or comes off the bench, I'm not too sure. But yeah, there will be goals, but it's just where do you go? I mean, Diaz sort of probably feels like the next safest bet. Yeah, Szoboszlai's been fun the last month.
Yeah, I mean, crossing and still managed to get goals as well. I mean, because he's also at a very decent price point as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
Obviously from this game, I guess it says Crystal Palace at least one goal. We know Eze is getting that goal because
oh my god,
been on some form. That whole Sa versus Eze pick couldn't have gone any more worse than it has already gone. To be honest,
I went with Sa.
Same. To be honest, I went with Sa and Mateta. The right decision should have been to go with Sa and Eze instead. Because I feel like at least Sa has got a few returns here and there. But like even if you were to add Sa's and Mateta's total returns combined, Eze is still probably like comfortably beating them. So he's just on some other form, Eze. But yeah, I probably would you start Munoz in this fixture?
You know, if you're at the moment, he's on my bench, and that's mostly because I've got a Newcastle defender. I've got Konza as well. So like they're in that bracket of like teams that have to get something. I'm trying to think who else I've got in my side at the moment in the 11. Oh, Kivior. I've got double Arsenal defense. So, but I wouldn't be against starting Munoz. He's so attacking. Even this morning, he could have easily had a goal. Like he's in the box all the time. It's crazy. Or he's just running down the wing and putting crosses in. So he feels great from an attacking perspective, where it feels like the goals will be flowing.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair points. Okay. What were the other fixtures that were in your
vibes?
Yeah,
the vibes basket.
Yeah.
Southampton, Arsenal.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, what's Mikel Arteta going to actually do in this game? Like,
well, he's not going to tell us anything, right?
No, he's not. He's not going to tell us anything. Like as we know, Saliba's going to be out for a while. I think even if he was still questionable, like you would bench him or get rid of him or whatever.
I have him in my team, unfortunately, because this season couldn't have gone any worse, so they had to put another injury in the final day. So at one point, I was just going to start him and just hope, like, you never know what would happen.
If he plays, if not, then
But like, if he comes out news that comes out like that is definitely out, then I'll probably just bench him, to be honest, because I don't know if I'll spend a transfer on a defender.
Yeah.
I mean, I could, because there's always a chance that a defender can get like this massive 15-point haul if they just go and keep it clean. Like Kukure and Konsa last week.
Yeah.
But from Arsenal's point of view, if you were looking for a defender, obviously you have Kivior. I think a nice differential would be Calafiori, if he's the one going to start head of Saliba's spot.
I wonder if we get leaks about Ben White, because we know Ben White does have a good range on him. And a real good eye for goals. He came close to scoring on the weekend too against Newcastle, and I don't think he scored a goal at all this season.
He might be someone that if we do get a leak that he's starting, if I really
and you need a defensive cover,
like because my other options are basically Murillo against Chelsea, and Munoz against Liverpool.
Yeah,
and if I was to bring in an Arsenal defender, it would be for a hit.
I don't like it.
Yeah, because it's a hit. It's like
a hit.
Probably do it for an attacker more than a defender as well in most cases.
Yeah, because if you're taking a hit for a defender, you basically, if they keep a clean sheet, you're only going to be 2 points up.
You need that 15-pointer.
Yes, which is really hard to predict.
Exactly. From Arsenal attacking point of view, before this whole Salah triple captaincy, and even before, like I had no hopes of head-to-head or anything. I was looking at Trossard as the differential triple captain. He could still be a decent transfer in. Apart from him, Kai Havertz is obviously now back. Do you expect him to start though?
I don't think he'll start only because he's only just come back. So
Mm.
look, if he did start, I doubt he would make more than 60 minutes. And like this is effectively a complete dead rubber for
Mm.
Arsenal. Like they've locked up second. I think anyone that starts of importance is probably going to be coming off. Like we saw Saka come off like
Yes.
fair. Like what did Saka last? Like 76 minutes.
He's never played 90 since I don't know when.
Yeah.
So I still mirror this last time as well. The important question you should ask is when was the last time Saka played 90 minutes for Arsenal?
Yeah. And it's
Um,
been a very long time.
yeah. So would you then go and sign Saka as a transfer this week? Because he's
I
one of the popular
mm,
captains.
he is popular. Like you need a lot of funds to do it. Like,
Mm.
I'm not against it. Like if you've got the funds in, like say if it's a toss up between like if you're looking at switching someone like Kevin De Bruyne
Mm.
for Saka, I'd be for that.
Mm.
But just be prepared that from 60 minutes onwards, like you're gonna be sweating. Like once it gets to like 55 minutes,
And if Arsenal are
just
like 3-0 up or something. Yep.
like there's no point. So like yeah, they've had such a taxing season that they sort of need to, there's no need to take.
Yeah, risk or anything. Because there's nothing to gain from this game.
Yeah, but like you mentioned, Trossard, he's been in decent form. He's got 8 goals, 7 assists this season.
Mm.
He's only 6.7 million, so that's quite an easy move
Yep.
from like a lot of your midfielders to get to. And I quite like that one. He's sort of the top of my list if I
Oh.
was to get
Yep.
an Arsenal asset.
Yep.
The other one I keep thinking about is Declan Rice. Like
Yes, I've thought about it because he's like
crazy form.
and set pieces as well.
Set pieces. We saw him score 2 worldy
Mm.
free kicks against Real Madrid. Yeah, it takes a billion corners, and we
Yes.
know how dangerous they are at set pieces. Although without Saliba and Gabriel, that might be a different case. But yeah, he's had 4 attacking returns in his last 6 game weeks. So 2
Mm.
goals, 2 assists, and in that time, he's also scored 2 goals against Real Madrid. So like the way he's playing at the moment, his finishing's incredible and
Mm.
playing like a proper number 8.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's definitely someone that could be a very nice differential, to be honest.
Yeah.
Martinelli, probably not as much, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to the Martinelli World
Okay.
earlier this season, and
It wasn't
at,
inspiring.
over like 5 weeks, there was one good return there, but the
Okay.
rest was so.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind Declan Rice, to be honest. I probably could have a look at that as well as an option
yeah.
for this week.
You know, his minutes are more secured.
Yes, exactly. So, and with, let's say if Saka comes up early, Rice is on way more set pieces than after
Yeah,
that as well.
that's right. And the last one I wanted to touch on was Marino. He's back from
Ah,
suspension for this game, so whether or not he plays as that floating forward or
mm,
just back in the midfield again, I don't know. I think they'd probably stick with Trossard up top. He's done
yeah,
a
yeah,
decentish job, I suppose.
yeah, exactly. Because and it's Southampton as well, so it
Yeah,
shouldn't be too hard.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah, fair enough. Hmm. I think out of all the players you mentioned for differentials, I think Declan Rice and Trossard
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, they're the two. They're the
Yeah,
two for me.
yeah, because they have the chance of like explosive returns as well, both of them.
Yeah,
Yep. Um,
not many people are gonna have them.
no, because everyone will be going after a Saka. FPL
Yeah,
review will also tell you to go and get
yeah,
Saka.
exactly.
And all the analytics managers will also go there.
And also, a lot of people might take hits to get him in too, which
Yes.
is a little bit interesting, I suppose. So you
Yep.
might already be 4 points ahead on the
Yep.
field if you don't.
Yep. I'm looking at taking a hit anyways, but that's not because of Saka, but that's more to just
Self punishment.
yeah, I have nothing to lose. Oh no, more importantly, that I just can't see Mateta in my team anymore. I don't want him. Get him out of the team. So, that and also I would try and like get some low EO players basically.
Yeah,
That's kind of what just a final chase or something.
yeah.
Okay, so that's another vibes fixture.
Mm.
What's the other vibes fixture?
The other one, Wolves Brentford. This
Ooh,
one,
this could have goals. Yes.
this could have goals. The
Yep.
question is, if you're a Cunha owner, like, does he start? Like, it's
He
probably
didn't.
be torture for managers who got him in recently.
Yeah, I mean he didn't start the last game. This could be
Yeah,
his final Wolves game as well. But
true.
I don't know if Vitor Pereira is like the type of manager that goes, "Oh, I'll give you your like final send off kind of type manager," or more like well, these are the players I'm going
If
to have next
you
season.
you go sit on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to focus on these players for next season. You can just sit there. I don't care if you don't even come on.
Yeah, he's a pretty spiteful person,
Yeah.
Pereira. So he's got form.
Yeah. So, for Cunha owners, I think it's tough. It depends on who you have. So I saw a lot of managers, obviously deadline stream this week, they were benching Cunha,
Yeah.
and they have pretty good other players that were ahead that they were willing to start up. And I think the same thing could apply this week as well.
Yeah.
They might be in a situation where they just bench Cunha. But for anyone who's like rank chasing or trying to get one final hurrah, I might just start him just off chance that he plays.
Yeah, true. I think he'll still get the appearance because it's that last Wolves home game of the season. It's just the start. I wouldn't be all that confident in it, but who knows? I mean, maybe it was an idea from Pereira that he's just rotating the side because they played this morning and then they play again on Sunday.
Yeah, that could be as well. True.
Yeah,
that's possible. So they maybe from press conferences we might get a bit more information potentially. But yeah.
But, I mean, on the other side of that coin, Brentford head into this game with like a 4 weeks rest, and
yes, and if like that 8th place is still there open, they kind of need to win it. Now obviously Brian Mbeumo, it's the penalty. Ended up on the same points as Watkins.
Yes.
The thing that was more shocking to me was his EO was above 100 for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? What just happened here? So, do you think he's a decent captaincy option this week?
Yeah, I still think I think I've captained him the last few game weeks, and he just ticks over every single game week now. I didn't see the Brentford game live, so when I woke up and I saw the scores, I thought, oh well, he must have got an assist or something. But then when I looked at all the details of the match, I was like, oh my god, he could have got like 15 points that game or 13 points. So
because he would have got the goal, no minus points as well, and the 3 bonus on top of that.
Oh, don't make me relive it.
Fair enough. So I mean, he's one option. Also, Wissa.
Yeah.
Managed to somehow. It's typical number 9. Just tap in.
Yeah, that's like Ruud van Nistelrooy real estate right there. That 6-yard box.
Exactly. Just be there to tap it in, even if it's going in. Just put your foot there.
Andrew and I were talking about this like earlier in the week because for those that don't know, Andrew's my pod co-host. He got Vissa in and captained him, and he was sweating like for the first couple of days that the dubious goals committee were going to look at that and rescind it and give it as either an own goal or I can't remember who put the cross in, but he was properly sweating, and I was like, "Nah, dude, like don't worry about it, like, it'll be fine."
Yeah, fair enough, and he's fine. The deadline's done; they can't change anything.
yeah, they don't care.
Yep. So yeah, he's another option. Obviously, Schade also didn't get anything from the up. I mean, he could have because he's the one who got fouled.
Should have. Yeah, he should have. He should have had the assist.
Yeah.
For the penalty, which was unlucky for owners.
So he's also not a bad option as well. But that's probably the FPL assets
from that game.
Yeah.
Talk about that man on the graphic right there.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, I've had good times with Bowen this season, but I'm so annoyed because I didn't get him like post game week 31. I've seen everyone else just get points, and the reason I still haven't gone there. I could go again there this week, but I'm still not going to do it. So, just now, it's just out of spite. Really,
you've made your bet and you are lying in it, no matter what.
Exactly. But the reason I didn't go there is I was like, West Ham are not a good team.
They're not. They're really not.
But this man just fights goals.
Yeah, like that's the thing. West Ham are a terrible team to watch. So I got Bowen in. When was it? When was the really popular
32?
Bench boost?
Oh, 34.
34. So that's when I think I got Bowen in for.
Yeah,
for
a lot of managers had West Ham. So they were playing Southampton, I think.
Yes, that sounds about right. So yeah, I got. Oh yeah, sorry, it was game week 33. I got him in. They had Southampton. I've had Bowen since then, and every week he's just been absolutely incredible for me. I've seen him get just more and more popular every week. I sort of felt like I got on that train like a week or two before a lot of people were able to get there. And that's been a big help in my climb this season. But yeah, like I keep thinking, Bowen would be great to captain against Ipswich. But then I keep thinking it's West Ham. It's like, it's not that him I don't trust, it's his teammates.
This is the biggest problem because I go, the reason I have still not. No, I picked him at the start because I thought he was a pretty decent FPL asset that would take over, and he's done that again. He's just proved me wrong, like right. Even though I've not gone and got him, lost out on so many points. But the other thing with West Ham, I go is they're not a team that creams goals. So they get like 1 goal, maybe the occasional 2 goals if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But you want like double digits generally, unless Bowen is getting all 3 bonus points. Probably not getting double digits as well.
Yeah.
Getting like an 8-pointer, maybe a 9-pointer at times.
Yeah, true. But like his returns the last few weeks has been
super consistent.
Like, just crazy consistent, like 8, 8, 9, 10, 9, 2, 7. So it's just like he actually doesn't need his teammates to return. Like that goal he got the other day was just
purely him.
It was almost like he was Brazilian with that type of like finishing. It was like insane. But yeah, I think he's getting married in a couple of weeks too. So he's got that pre-wedding vibes.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So that means you're saying like in a year's time, Andy Martin will be looking at.
Well, he's already got. I think he had not him, but his fiance, whose name is Danny Dyer, who's her dad is also named Danny Dyer. He's like an actor in the UK. Okay. Like, there's anyone who hasn't seen him, like just look up Danny Dyer actor UK. Is like, and he's the biggest West Ham fan. So,
okay.
Yeah, they had twins earlier on in the season. I think.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So
anyway,
that's
enough about the Jared Bowen's marital history.
So yeah, Bowen probably the only one. That's it.
Yeah, but it's Bowen or bust.
Yeah, like, exactly.
In that fixture.
Yep. If you want Suchek, but no, but still Bowen.
Yeah. Unless you're a Czech national and you're really patriotic, then yeah.
Yep. Fair enough. I'll add one more Wives fixture: Spurs versus Brighton.
Yeah.
Because you never know what Spurs you're gonna get. Even if they win the Europa League, you still don't know what Spurs you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Brighton obviously beat Liverpool 3-2. All those who went Hörsler on the assistant manager, like
Chazza, yes. Who was on your show just a couple weeks ago.
Yep. He could have had an insane game week. I went and told him to drop Konsa and play Cunha. I was like, no.
Oh god.
Oh, that was like a 14-point swing right there.
But the real FPL points are the friends we make.
I know. At the same time, I did tell him to go and chase for table winners.
Okay.
But I felt so bad when Konsa scored that like 15-pointer. So I was like, well. He's having a pretty decent season though. So
yeah,
it's okay.
Incredible.
But another differential. Now, obviously, we spoke about Evan Nelson. Danny Welbeck, the amount of chances he had to score goals in the last game and didn't put it away. I mean, he could be a pretty decent differential. The problem with Brighton is they have so many options that can score.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
If Matoma had been starting recently rather than coming off the bench, like I've got his shirt behind me there.
Yep.
I love Dr. Dribble as my co-host that coined that nickname.
Yep.
Big fan of Dr. Dribble, and like he's incredible. Like if we knew he was starting, that would be lots of fun to go with. But yeah, just I'm not confident in any of the Brighton assets. Just they're a real roller coaster side. Like they could, it's so tricky.
Yeah, that's like picking that specific attacker that's gonna haul. That's the tough part.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Joe Pedro didn't play. If Joe Pedro played, I would have been way more tempted. I was like, yep, penalties.
Yeah.
Coming to my team. If anything, even if the rest of the Brighton team is doing like not too well, he'll do something like shithousery to try and win a penalty somehow, and it'll just like get himself like some points. But he didn't play apparently for personal reasons, so I don't know whether he's going to play or not in the last game. But that's something that you can't really risk without knowing any information.
Well, apparently he had a bust up with Van Hecker at training. That's what they've come out and said. So maybe he was doing some of that shithousery in training.
Yep. Probably trying to win a penalty in training as well.
Yeah, and it's not like a Dutch person, to be quite forthright and stubborn. So yeah, that would have been quite the battle there between the two of them.
Yep, true. And knowing the Dutch, they're very open with their thoughts.
Yes, it would have been very honest, a very honest conversation.
So yeah, I mean, Brighton, there are options there. It's just that it's hard to pick which one.
Yeah, the net feels a lot wider for them,
Yes.
but yeah, I don't know. A lot more gappy. If that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Spurs? Any options on Spurs?
The way you said Spurs, your voice went up so high. Like, Spurs?
Really?
That just says it all. Like, no. I think if they win the Europa League, like, they're going to be in party mode. If they lose the Europa League, they're going to be depressed mode and have to play at White Hart Lane, and then Brighton probably beating them. And like, can you imagine the mood at the Tottenham Stadium? Like, it's going to be, I'd be sitting there with popcorn. I'd love it. But like, it'd just be torturous for them.
Like I said, it might not be Ange in the
No,
dugout.
it might not be. Mile Jedinak stepping up like, from the assistant.
So, yeah, probably not.
Yeah, no, definitely avoid Spurs.
All right, let's get into some of the more harder fixtures.
All right.
Actually, no. Before we get into harder fixtures, let's talk about Fulham versus City before we go to the harder fixtures. City obviously won. I don't know how KDB didn't finish that chance.
Oh my god! Someone didn't obviously get the script of what was supposed to happen today,
but do you see him playing the Fulham game?
I still think I don't know. It was such a big send off for him today. Whether or not that was just because it was the home game, but I suppose if he does play, he's probably going to be subbed off. But yeah, it's a tricky one.
I've got him, and I'm happy to probably play him because it's the same. Like if swapping to Saka, obviously Saka has probably higher potential. Then the same could be said for KDB as well, right?
True. It could actually be his last game.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he could probably get a double digit. I wouldn't put it past him to do one get a really good result. Obviously those who held Marmoush got rewarded. Done. Maybe could have got more if KDB obviously finished it because of his assist. And then there's obviously the double City defense that I was like I didn't watch the game. It probably was a good thing because if I saw that goal, Jemison goal live, I was like, this close to a double City defense clean sheet. I'll probably still play it this week because I kind of have no choice. But they've been pretty good defensively.
Yeah, they have been pretty solid of late, and yeah, like you said, that was. I mean, I just have Vardy in my side, and yeah, it was the start of injury time, and I saw it on my phone. I was like, oh, great, just see this out, and then I checked my phone a couple minutes later, and I saw the late Bournemouth goal. I was like, oh, damn it! And, thinking of other managers, I know Mark, one of our Aussie contingent, he's really high up in the ranks, and he had double City defense, so that was a massive blow. Blow for him. He was devastated, but yeah, just that's FPL.
Indeed. Meanwhile, everyone who went Haaland.
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
Yeah, I'm quite happy I avoided that train again. You haven't had Haaland for a very long time. He's sort of been in and out. He comes in. No, I keep thinking I'm not going to be captaining him anyway. So at most, he might get a double. But his form doesn't show that at the moment.
His confidence also doesn't show it because he gave up a penalty in the FA Cup final.
Yeah, but that also said we've really been blessed that there's just so many forward options this season. So there's not that urge to everyone's got him, everyone's captaining him every week. No one's really captaining him. So
would you still keep him if you had him, or would you look at selling?
Look, if you have him, I think he's still playing this week. So I mean, he's still almost good for a goal a game.
Yeah.
That confidence isn't there, but yeah, I'd still be confident he would start this game.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Fulham, on the other hand, obviously the 8th place is not possible, but they do have a goal in them.
Yeah.
Raul Jimenez obviously still a pretty decent option for anyone who might have. I don't know if people would have, but I wouldn't be looking at buying any City or Fulham players, to be honest.
No, it feels like the type of fixture that you don't really want to invest in, but
yeah.
If you got him, you play him. You don't know what might happen there.
Yep, fair enough. All right, let's get into the tough fixtures. We'll start with your boys. Forest versus Chelsea. How are you feeling?
Nervous. Very, very nervous. This is going to be a torturous watch on what is it, Monday morning for us.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be that's going to be brutal. I'm not going to enjoy it. I'm not confident.
Yep.
I think it could be a draw, which doesn't help either side, because I still think Villa will win and end up leapfrogging
Okay.
Chelsea, and I think the other results will go the way they're going to go. So, yeah, not confident. It's going to be pretty tight, but both defenses are like Chelsea's defense has actually been pretty good of late.
Yep.
Forest a little bit more leaky, but I
Yes.
think at home at the Forest ground, it's just that crowd becomes such a big factor for them.
Yeah, but then this is the thing, right? Forest can't sit back. They
Yeah,
have
they
to go
can't.
for it.
Yeah, because they have to win, and then they still have to sort of hope
Yeah, exactly.
the other results go their way.
Oh,
Do they? I can't remember.
no, I think if they win, they're okay.
Yeah.
So Forest on 65 points.
Yes.
If all the other results go their way.
I keep thinking, I keep expecting Villa to beat United though. So
yeah, even if Villa do beat United,
yeah,
that's
Villa would still be above them though.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
Forest will go sixth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so they still have to kind of.
They have to win, and then they need a result
Yeah.
or two to go their way as well.
Yeah. I mean, but it's still it's like you still get a promotion from one European league to another European league, like
Sure.
that one spot itself. So they still would take it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I think for their team, it's probably best that they end up in conference to like progress slowly.
Yeah.
I don't know if their squad will be capable of handling Champions League. Probably not, because like trying to rotate between the two and the league form might take a hit, like how Newcastle happened as well.
Yeah.
Whereas you've seen from the Conference League, from Chelsea's perspective, like you just feel the B team and you're still cruising through.
Yeah. The other really difficult thing with the Conference League is like you're playing against teams that a lot of the times aren't in capital cities.
Oh,
so
yeah,
there's a lot of extra travel.
Yes.
On top of that, I think that's a massive factor.
Yes.
That is the problem, because you're not going to places like Madrid or Rome. Like you're going to, then you got to travel even further. Like Chelsea played everywhere this season, so there's some crazy games.
You're going to countries that you didn't even know existed in Europe.
There's teams like I know a lot about football, and there has been a few times this season I've looked at who they're playing. I'm like, I couldn't even tell you what country they're in. It's an experience.
Exactly. So I mean, that is obviously one, but I guess that's why if you play a B team, and Forest have a massive squad. We said this at the start of the season. Oh my god, they have such a big squad. So maybe that's one of the reasons for such a big squad.
True.
But again, I think there are goals in this potentially.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be a really cagey affair. Like it's probably just going to be like, I don't know. I still think it'll be a draw, but not that. Like I said, that doesn't help anyone. But at most, it might be like a 2-1 or something. But
would you go buy? Okay, maybe not you, but if someone was to look at, like, say, buying a Morgan Gibbs White or an Elanga this week,
I don't know. I just think there's better options out there. Like we talked about those Arsenal midfielders, and then like Bowen, and even really still like
probably 2 kg affairs here.
Yeah, the margins are so tight for that game. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Chelsea, on the other hand, probably if you have them, you play them, and then
yeah, I think look, there was a lot of people that went for Cole Palmer last week with the fixture, which I liked. If I was able to do it, I might have myself. But look, if you've got him, I think you got to play him, because it's a big boy game, and if he's ever going to step up for the second half of the season where he's been pretty poor, hopefully it's this one.
Yeah, fair enough. And then the final one, obviously Chelsea's best player, not Moise Caicedo, but Cucurella.
Cucurella, he's unbelievable this season. So
would you start him though?
Because I would definitely start him.
Okay, if you had purely attacking returns.
He's been, I think he's got 5 or 6 goals like in 2025.
He's insane.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. And if you watch, I mean, I watch every single minute of every single game they play. Like if the ball's on the other side of the field, he's in the box. Like he's always there. So I'm not surprised when he steps up for the goals. He's just, I know, he seems to read the play really well, which is quite the development. When he first came, he was so bad for Chelsea. Like you wouldn't have talked to any Chelsea fan that didn't want to get rid of him straight away. But he's really turned that around and made himself indispensable.
Yeah, fair enough. So, yes, KG game, but if you have the players, you play them, then hope for the best.
Yeah, I think so. Look, I don't think there's many managers out there with like more than one Chelsea asset,
Yeah,
like engaged managers, I should say, unless you're going like super punty. But
yeah,
yeah,
fair enough. I think there are more Forest assets at this moment than
probably.
Chelsea assets. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is probably where I might just be playing Murillo potentially. You never know.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you never know what's going to happen.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. The next KG game, Man United versus Aston Villa.
You
Now,
think it'll be KG?
I don't expect us to put a weak side. I'd say that because
Okay.
we put a pretty strong side against Chelsea.
You did. I was on the one hand, I was surprised. The other, I wasn't, because I was thinking, well, it's a long gap between like when
Yeah,
your stronger side actually played. So
but you
I
can't
thought,
afford injuries as well at the same time. But he
yeah,
went with a pretty strong squad,
yeah,
and this is the final home game of the season as well.
yes, that's
And
right.
I think regardless of whatever happens in the Europa League, I still think that might not affect the Aston Villa game as much
Yeah,
because I just feel like there's just too much. There's still quite a lot of pressure on him as a manager.
yeah. You think so, or you think like he's still sort of got like this like
He has a
honeymoon
leeway
period?
because of he has like this honeymoon period in terms of
Yeah,
because he's still a new manager. This is not his team and all of that. But there's always in these big games, there's always going to be like a certain level of pressure. And then add to that, I should say we've done pretty decently in big games
yeah,
against like all the big teams. Compared to all the other teams we faced, we've not done pretty well. But
yeah.
against the bigger teams, we've managed to do well. I don't know if that's because the bigger teams afford a bit more space as well, and
True.
that gives United the options to like counter attack or
Yeah,
find space to. Because the one thing we are pretty bad at is trying to break down a team.
yeah. You're much better on the counter attack,
Yes,
like classic
exactly.
United.
Yep. So we have that option, which I think Aston Villa with their high line and all of that, it might kind of favor us at times as well. I don't think this is going to be a walkthrough for Aston Villa per se. It might be a bit more of a tougher game than they expect, potentially.
Yeah,
Or at least
yeah,
I'm hoping.
yeah. Definitely. Also, like it's so hard to predict this game because like we don't know what could happen in that final tomorrow morning. Like
Yes.
that could go 120 minutes.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely. Then I'd put Aston Villa in like pretty
yeah,
good favorites if it goes
yeah,
120 minutes. But I think it's going to be a bit more of a cagey affair. The only thing is Aston Villa have improved defensively,
yes,
and
very much.
if they do get the lead, I think I can see them just sitting back, and then it becomes harder for United to try and break down Aston Villa. That's the problem.
Yeah. They Emery's like smart enough just to see that game out. Like if they get the 1 or 2-0, like they shut up shop, and then I mean at the same time they still need the other results to go their way. But
Is it?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, because they're
yes, because of
currently
Chelsea's ahead. Yes.
like the goal difference,
Yes.
Chelsea's goal difference
Yes.
far superior. So
But they're not going to overcome that in one
no
game.
No, it'd have to be like 2 crazy results.
Yeah, it'll have to be like a Premier League record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There would definitely be match fixing
Yeah,
allegations, like if it got turned over. But
Yeah.
So like as much as they have to win, they still need things to go their way. But I still expect them to take care of business there. But yeah, that Villa defense the last 3 weeks. I've had Konza in my squad all season, and I've been playing in the last few weeks. I mean, the goal aside the other day against Spurs, like they've just been so solid, and so many managers out there have Emi Martinez, and this sounds like it might be his last game for Villa.
Yeah, looks like it. He's been
That
linked.
sort of came out of nowhere. Like for me, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, he's been linked with a lot of teams. He's been linked with Saudi. He's also been linked with United for some reason in the last couple of weeks. He's been linked with Atletico Madrid.
Yeah. I can see him fitting in at Atletico Madrid.
Yeah. Under Diego Simeone. Yep. Definitely.
Yeah.
Manager and player.
Those two are soulmates.
Yep, exactly.
Argentinian.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's been linked with a few moves. So this could be his last game. Now I've got Martinez as well, but I've got Rea as well at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to play Rea at this moment, and just hope that United can wipe out the double Aston Villa clean sheet. For anyone who has double Aston Villa clean sheet.
Yeah. Well, I'll personally be hoping United wins because that makes Chelsea's situation
so much more easier. Yes.
Yeah, a little bit more easier, but yeah.
Because then after that, you're like, you You still need to win.
Yeah, or even a draw. Like,
or even a draw, and you're fine.
That's if Villa loses. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of permutations.
Yeah, exactly. So should be an interesting game. We'll see what happens. Obviously, again with Villa as well. If you have them, you play them.
Yeah. I've got triple Villa, and they're all in my 11 at the moment. So yeah, Rodgers, Watkins, Konza. So
and from United, I probably won't buy.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Because especially Aston Villa's defense is too hard to beat at this moment.
Yeah. They could be taking the pitch with sunglasses on and still in their kit from the Europa League final if things go well.
If things go well. That's the main thing. So yeah, we'll see. Anyways, final game, Newcastle versus Everton.
Yeah.
Must-win game for Newcastle. They're pretty good at home.
Yeah.
Everton have basically had their party in the last game against
Southampton,
yeah. So they had their goodies and farewell and all of that. Newcastle at home in general have been pretty solid, I would say. Now Isak obviously missed out. We don't know if he'll be available or not for this one. Maybe have to see what Eddie Howe says. But he's also another manager, doesn't really...
He's not going to tell us anything.
And to make matters worse, Newcastle ITKs are also not reliable at all. So don't expect for reliable leaks as well.
Yeah.
So, do you have Isak?
I do. I do have Isak, and I've held him this whole time.
Okay, so what are you going to do?
So, my plan is I will be starting him this Everton game. Because if he's fit, he's going to play.
Yep.
I think he's going to play because he was part of the travelling squad on the weekend for Arsenal, and it sounded like it was like a 50-50 game day decision where they went, let's
not risk it.
Let's not risk
Everton, man. It's a bit more,
because even if they had the draw, even if they got the draw against Arsenal, they still needed 3 points.
Yes.
So they're just targeting this game. Everton are just emotionally taxed after that last win at Goodison Park. That feels like their season's done, and we've seen in the past when Everton are done. Like there was a few seasons ago, I think it was the Lampard season or Dyche, I can't remember. They avoided relegation. They went into the last game of the season safe, and they were on the beach. They got absolutely slammed. So I'm feeling something very similar here. And I think with the stakes so high for Newcastle.
Yep.
If Isak is fit to play, he's going to play.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that could happen.
A semi-fit Isak is much better than Callum Wilson at the moment.
Semi-fit Isak is also maybe on par with an Evan Nilsson as well, potentially. You never know. This week.
Yeah, so that's my thing. Like you said, we're not going to really find out any information. So my ideal situation is I probably just start him and have a really good backup option.
Now I sold Isak last week for Watkins.
Yeah.
Now, one move that I have been thinking about is Anthony Gordon.
Yeah. I like it.
Against his old club.
Yeah. He wouldn't mind giving it to the Everton fans.
Who didn't really appreciate him the last couple. So maybe, because I could remove Mateta to like an Evan Nilsson, free up the funds, and have exact cash, I think, to do like an Ismail Sarr to Anthony Gordon if I wanted to.
Yeah, I like that. I really like those moves.
So that is something that I have been thinking, because there is possibility for, like, if Newcastle to get 3-0, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I could easily see them putting up a big score against Everton here.
The other thing is, not only is Tarkowski out, Branthwaite also went.
Yeah, he's out too.
That's a double blow for Everton's defense, which means Ashley Young probably needs to play, because now Brian has to play centre half alongside maybe Keane.
Keane is shocking. So
I mean, could be a good day for Newcastle attackers potentially.
Yeah, definitely. Even the defenders, like if you got a Dan Burn,
or
there's
even
no one really blocking his path at those set pieces, and
then Livramento as well, who's had pretty good season this season. Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes feels like you got to get that lightning in the bottle. Like it needs to be like the right time. Like it's so much of a risk with him. Like we've seen, even when he's absolutely on it, a lot of managers went to him when they had the free hit week.
Yeah, me included.
Yeah,
Didn't really pay off. Yeah,
one of those things. It feels too much like a risk. I like Gordon because also on the other hand, if Isaac doesn't play,
it'll be Gordon like false 9.
yeah,
potentially.
and also on penalties. So
Yeah, that's true.
he
That
did
is
take
very true.
penalties when
Yeah.
Isaac didn't play.
Yep. And Callum Wilson is just not good enough at this point.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay. That's something that I'm definitely looking at. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that's the fixtures. Captaincy.
Oh, captaincy. Captaincy is it's one I'm still not 100% on at the moment. Like part of me really likes the Salah call because he's got like personally he's got so much to play for, and that's what you want in fantasy. You want someone selfish.
Yep.
So he's probably just going to be shooting on sight all game.
Just hope that something goes in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
He just needs 2 returns.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I've just gone. And like for me, it's like the triple captaincy as well, right? You want someone who's you can rely on.
Yeah.
With that chip. And even though he's been poor in the last, he's not really been poor. The team in general have kind of been poor. But Arneslot did come out and say, well, we're not going to be that great against Brighton, but you'll see the real Liverpool against Crystal Palace.
Oh, there you go.
So, I'm hoping they deliver here.
They probably want to put on a show at home because, I mean, they're doing the big trophy lift like at the end of this game. So, like, the vibes at the stadium is going to be insane. Everyone's going to be partying the whole game. And it feels like it's going to be a great atmosphere on the day and could be a fun one. Yeah, with the triple captaincy on there.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe a Salah 30-pointer to rescue me from getting relegated.
Never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened.
Yep. So that's one option. Where else, though?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, the vice for me is on Mbeumo. He's just so consistent. And like we said, that Wolves are going to be pretty leggy after just playing this morning. So, yeah, Mbeumo's Mbeumo. Like, he's just so much fun to have. Like, if Isaac had played
then
on the weekend,
a bit more confident on him.
I would have been, really confident to throw the armband on him, especially with that depleted Everton backline. But yeah, no, not for me. But yeah, there'll be a lot of people out there with Saka who've held him for this fixture. Look, I think if you've held him and you want to go for it, go for it. But just be prepared. You probably got a 60-minute window.
Yes, probably.
Yeah.
Or even a 45-minute window like I had in Gameweek 33.
Yeah.
It was where he had like the most amazing 45-minute.
Oh, was that against Ipswich?
Yes, and didn't
yes, I kept him too.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. I couldn't believe what I was watching because the amount of he should have had like at least a double-digit return in that game, and I just So yeah, he's also. I mean, he will be the analytics FPL review. All the models will be shouting at Arsenal and Saka. But yeah, I guess Saka and Mbeumo are definitely options. Bowen, I've seen a lot of calls for Bowen. People who have the triple captaincy have been thinking of Bowen as well.
Yeah. Look, honestly, I don't like. We went through his numbers from the last 6 game weeks, and he's on fire. But he's shown he doesn't really need his teammates to help him along the way. But I don't know. Just if that fixture was the other way around, and it was like Ipswich at home, I'd like definitely be up for it. But because it's Ipswich away, it's like.
Oh, you mean like West Ham at home?
Yeah. Sorry, if it was like if they were playing that fixture at home, like Ipswich,
a bit more,
Ipswich at home probably wanted show something for their fans the last game. I don't know what Ed Sheeran's touring schedule's like, if he's going to be there in the crowd.
Fair enough. Yeah, they might put on a show potentially. Because they're not a bad team per se.
Yeah.
It's just that they haven't managed to get any proper wins and all.
They're not a bad team. They're just bad.
They're not
I know what you mean.
They're not you know how Adam and Ababa, they put the paddle in.
Yeah.
They generally don't get paddling. But I mean, I think there are, like we mentioned, Salah, Mbeumo, and even Saka potentially are definitely better options at the moment.
But yeah, lots of managers will go there with Bowen, and I'm definitely
if you want a consistent 9-10 pointer, that choice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And whereas the others have not really been delivering that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. So we're just on the hope we're going in terms of captaincy. But
I don't know. I still keep coming back to the Salah thing just because like
Yeah, that's where I'm at because
it's
just
all there for him to play for. Like
yeah,
he doesn't care about the team. Like
yeah.
that's that ship is sad. Like it's all about him.
Which means at least 90 minutes are probably looking likely if
Yeah,
he doesn't
yeah. I
get it.
think
Yeah.
look, if he's got his returns,
Oh,
if
then
he's
happy
got his
days. Yeah.
like, and it's like 80th minute, like that probably let him come off just so he can get a nice clap from everyone. But
Yeah.
they're probably going to try and give him as much time as possible to get the returns.
Yep, that's true. So,
Yeah.
all right, that's captaincy. Teams. Oh, assistant manager. For anyone who still has it.
Oh. There'll be a few out there that's still playing it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, Vito Pereira is up here because of against Brentford.
Yeah.
But I don't know how much I trust that.
Yeah, there's not really any/many options for like maybe if you're gonna like go for it this game week, like maybe you go Fulham over City, but
yeah,
just only if you're trying to chase some table bonus.
Yeah,
They're probably
true.
more likely to get a result over City with City having played today.
Palace versus Liverpool, probably not, right?
Yeah,
Those are picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I think also Glasner was saying that if they beat their points total from last season, he was going to give all the players a few days off.
They've done it already,
which they did
Yeah.
today. So, like, I'm not all that confident on which players actually even start.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, honestly,
there's nothing really there for table bonus.
I think you just take your pick and hope for the best kind of thing.
Yeah, unless you go someone like Arsenal, where
for pure like 12-pointer goals,
like clean sheet, try and rack up a few goals. Like it's definitely there.
Yeah, but if you have nothing to lose and really, really want to chase it, much as I've said, Spurs, Ange. If it's not even Ange in the dugout,
it might just be a silhouette.
Yeah, new manager bounce on the final day.
The silhouette of like the when you haven't chosen your avatar, it's just like grayed out like body shape.
But yeah, if anyone's chasing table bonus, I'm not against it. Just pick a manager and hope for the best.
Yeah,
probably the case.
Just not Spurs.
Yeah. All right. Having said that, teams. So this is mine, 52. Martinez obviously still returning points, but this week I'll be starting Rare. I still play the double city defense in Guardiola and Ruben Diaz. Munoz there, he will be making the bench, and I think Saliba will be in that place until I get absolute confirmation that he's not playing.
Yeah.
Even then, I probably might not trust it. I might still play, and auto sub can come on. In that case, it'll be Murillo if that's the case. The midfield, I had Mbeumo, Rogers, KDB, Salah, and Ismail Sarr. And this is where the changes might happen, where Ismail Sarr could become a Declan Rice, Trossard, or even Anthony Gordon, leaning towards the Gordon move now for the moment because a lot to play for in that game.
Yeah.
And then up front, I've got Watkins and Wissa. But if I do this Gordon move, or even Trossard or Declan Rice, then Mateta will be sold. And at this moment, the budget forward looks like Evan Nilsson.
Yeah.
Which means I will be benching Morgan Rogers.
Which is tricky. He's been so good the last few game weeks. I mean, he's been good most of this season, but
like compared to all the other midfielders that I'll be having, like in terms of explosive potential.
Yeah.
Touchwood, now that I said it, he might go and score a hat trick against United, but I kind of have to somewhat play the fixture.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, the risk is there, but
it's the final game week.
It's the final game week. So
that or bench in Wissa, which I'd rather start Wissa.
Yeah, like Wissa against Wolves, like feels really good to have. But that Roger spot, like I've also been looking at my side, and that one could be a bit of an issue there. But yeah, I suppose you're also like playing the field a bit wider. Like you got the Watkins there already. So and you got Martinez. So you got at least you got the double Villa.
Oh, that might be rare. So
that's right, Raya. Yeah. You probably play Raya. So yeah.
We'll see. You have to take some level of
exactly. Like if you're chasing, like why not try something different? So
exactly.
There's no harm.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
But Pete, you had a good week.
I did.
Yeah. So rare and goal, clean sheet, Konsa, 15-pointer.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Not for me. Guardiola and Munoz. Salah, Mbuemo with the armband, Bowen, Rogers, Ismail Sarr, and up front you got Wissa and Watkins. On the bench you had Isak, Kivio, and Livramento as well.
Yeah, I had my benching order wrong, so I had Sarr was my first sub instead of
2 points.
Kivio.
Yeah,
I was really hoping. Like I got up as soon as I think it was like what was it 3:45 this morning. I was awake. And I saw the team sheets drop, and I was like, I was praying.
All starting.
I was like, oh, they're all starting.
Yeah.
Like, damn it. 7 point stays on my bench.
Yep, fair enough.
Yeah. But anyway, like, yeah, Sarr the last 2 games been solid. Picked up some returns at least. So yeah, that was good. Yeah, like the last few games I've picked up a bit of steam. So I'm finishing off strong, and at the moment I'm sitting like 80k. So which
of 100k.
Yeah, like I honestly, if you told me that like 10 weeks ago when I think I was like 600k or something, like there was no way I would have thought I would have got there. But just I don't know, grinding and fair bit of luck too. Yeah, got there, and yeah, I said on our show last week I wasn't all that sure if I'd break into the top 100, but here I am. So yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
So what's the
plan?
Yeah.
If it was a normal game week, I'd roll.
Oh, so maybe this is where we say stay tuned for the FPL Side Nets podcast.
Nah, don't worry about that.
To find out what Peterson's going to do
on next week's episode. The crossover.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, like, do you want me to do my team lineup for?
Yeah.
Go ahead. The moment.
Yeah.
So at the moment, I've got the double Arsenal defense of Raya and Kivior. I've got Konza and Livramento at the moment. That's my backline. So, like, yeah, Konza because they got to play to win. Livramento, same deal there. Midfield 4 at the moment. Yeah, Salah, Rogers, Bowen, and Mbuemo. Like all those fixtures look really good, and then my front line is still the same: Watkins, Wissa, Isak. So
hence the rolling.
Yeah, which it's like you were talking about Rogers, and looking at my side, if I was going to get someone like a Trossard or a
that's the spot
Declan Rice,
yeah,
that's the spot. So yeah, my thinking is I might swap Sarr or Trossard and have that as first sub, because if Isak is then ruled out, which we might not find out,
yeah, true.
At least then the auto sub kicks in. But the other option is, do I bench Rogers?
Well, the same could be true for like auto sub kicking in where Rogers comes off.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but yeah, it's a decision you have to think about, like, and see which one you think scores more.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, part of me thinks that Arsenal Southampton game could be a cricket score, but I think I'll wait and see what happens. I mean, it's a bit of a cheap way out, but wait and see what happens with the Europa League final.
Yeah.
Fair
enough. Yeah, we'll see what happens, whether that goes to 120 minutes or not, because that could also sway decisions. Yep. Okay,
it's a tricky one. Like, I would roll. Like, it sounds utterly ridiculous to go to Game Week 38 and roll a transfer.
Hello, FPL Towers. Can I carry over transfer next season?
Yeah. You know how we can carry over 5 transfers? I got this wicked idea. It would be like, it'd be, I don't know, pretty funny.
Yep.
But just to roll the transfer.
Meanwhile, everyone here is taking hits.
I know. Can I sell it? Is there like a FPL black market?
If there was, I would have been.
I'll give it to you.
I know. I know a few subscribers who had like 5 free transfers. I'm like, how are you on 5 free transfers at this stage of the season?
Oh man.
Yep. Anyways, that's the teams. Let me quickly read some questions, because we did get some questions in, and I said I'll read them at the end. There's one question that is coming in terms of trying to look at a mini league. So I'll bring the screen up. Let me know. I need to switch. Share this tab. Can you see this? Oh, there you go. Now, can the stream see this? Yes, they can. This is from Sandry in the chat. Basically, they're currently first, and they initially had a 40-point lead, which has now been even more smaller to
15 points.
Yeah. the thing is, both the teams are completely different.
Oh wow.
Which is why there's like so much of a variance, a swing.
Yeah.
Because we've got the double city defense, Rea, Wan-Bissaka, Palmer, Mbeumo, Elanga, Bowen, Watkins, Wood, and Cunha. We got double Bournemouth as well for this upcoming week.
Ooh.
But if you look at the other team, this is the person in second. It's different. Like, you don't have the double city defense here. Got KDB, Eze, Bowen, Gibbs White. Frontline is also different. Got Watkins, Wood, and Cunha versus Wissa, Mateta, and Watkins. There's a lot of swing.
Yeah.
I guess the question they want to know, probably, is it possible for first place to remain at first place? Can they hold on to their lead?
Oh, geez. Look, I think so. Looking at that side, I mean, there's the double or there's triple Palace there, which is a bit of a risk, but
So Triple Palace is not with the leader though.
oh no, okay, that's with
Yeah.
seconds. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So in that case,
This is the team in second with the Triple Palace
yeah.
and Double Forest.
Not a bad side.
Hmm. But this is the team in first. I think they should be fine.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Exactly. Like 15 points is a lot to make up. Like you'd have to have a
that's what I
terrible
thought.
game week.
Yeah, that's why I thought for the 40-point lead. They cut that down. I was like telling, oh, don't worry, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
That's fine.
Now you're sweating. But I think you should be still fine, to be honest.
Yeah, like it's good it's good players. So yeah.
Yep. Oh, I realized I'm not sharing it on screen. Are you able to see it? You're not able to see it. But the stream is able to see it.
Okay. Yeah, the stream could see it. I could see it on the stream.
Okay. Cool. All right, all good then. All right, let me switch back to the thumbnail for everyone. Okay. Let me just quickly have a look at any other questions that I might have potentially missed. Tell him the luck of my friend. I did mention the luck. So basically, the 40-point lead. I'm going for Bowen captaincy. So yeah, Bowen captaincy is at this moment. Nick, who is having an insane season, currently in the top 10 of the R Mini League. I think he's looking at top 5k finish at this moment.
Wow.
Currently switching between Salah and Mbeumo for captaincy.
Yeah. I mean, that's where my captaincy advice is at the moment between those two. So
yep. And then obviously there are a few managers with free hit as well.
Yeah.
And I think we did touch on a few players' differentials. I'll make a free hit video probably tomorrow for anyone with free hit. There's one in the comments though, from Akshat. My free hit would be Watkins, Wissa, Evan Nilsson, Bowen, Mbeumo, Saka, Salah. There's a midfield 4.
Yep.
Wan-Bissaka, Kiwior, Kirkes, and Rea in goal.
I don't know about Wan-Bissaka. Like, I know he's been solid, but I don't know. It's still, if switch at home,
West Ham's chances of keeping a clean sheet are the...
I don't, like, did you see Areola not literally pass the ball to Gibbs White the other day?
So that he could get his 11-pointer. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'd rather get Livramento or something, probably.
Yeah, I'd prefer Livramento because he's got that attacking threat and that Newcastle defense at home against Everton.
Yeah, true. Reddy says Forest versus Chelsea would be like a chess match, which is probably true.
Horrible chess match.
Yeah. Then Sandri was asking whether you're a Chelsea fan because of the blue kit.
Yes.
He's a proud Chelsea fan. Havertz may play was another question. I think that's probably not going to happen. We kind of have to see.
Probably, I reckon another appearance off the bench for Havertz.
Freddie also mentioned, I think Tierney and Jorginho will start because of last games for Arsenal. So which means that could also be like midfield. Yeah,
Jorginho's moving back to Brazil.
I believe so. For Flamengo? For ahead of the Club World Cup?
I think so. Yeah, so I don't know if he has the legs in him to play 90 minutes. So maybe he could start that game. So
it might take some minutes of like maybe even a Thomas Partey, and then that could also give Declan Rice maybe some minutes ahead. I don't know.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Look, I think it's going to be the type of game where like Arsenal's going to have it all their way. So
yeah,
I don't think they really need to worry too much about defensive midfield setups.
Yep, fair enough. And then at the start of the chat, Nick my friend group was the same. I'm one of 2 United fans in a group of 15. So it's like the chat that you were saying. So the banter was a bit mad.
Yeah. Oh.
So anyways, so that's basically it. And Tiger, final question from Tiger is, what's the weather like your way? Tiger's apparently come to Sydney. The weather in Sydney has been a bit more cold, bit wet, raining. It's raining the entire week. But the more crazy thing that has happened was there was a power voltage, like a voltage issue in terms of a train line. So the power line had fallen onto a train. All the trains are now just like in chaos. So there's so much delay yesterday and today. So anyone taking public transport, not a good idea at this moment. Work from home, people. Work from home. That's basically it from Sydney's updates. But yeah, Pete, any plugs?
Yeah, FPL Signet podcast. So we're going to be recording Friday morning. I can't do tomorrow. I'm going to the dentist, so I'll probably be all numbed up. I wouldn't be able to talk anyway. So yeah, Friday morning for our latest episode. Yeah, you can find us all the usual places, all the usual socials at FPL Signet, and yeah, that's all I've got to plug. We were going to announce that we're doing the FIFA Club World Cup content. We're going to be producing like 4,000 hours of content.
Well, I have no other content to kind of do during the break. So maybe.
You don't stop, man. You never stop. So.
Yeah, that's true. At this point, I don't sleep as well.
Yeah, you don't sleep. You don't stop.
Yep. I'll be up for a 5 o'clock game to watch United, whether they win or lose. So make sure to come and join me for that. But yeah, links will be in the description for Peterson's podcast. Obviously, you can find them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. Basically, just search FPL Signet and go give Pete a follow on X.
Awesome.
And obviously his co-host as well, Andrew.
Yes. And actually, before we finish up, I just want to say congratulations, because like you produced so much content throughout the season.
Thank you.
Well done. So yeah, I always like to say this: like and subscribe, people. So like and subscribe.
I should press that.
Brian works his socks off.
Yes, like and subscribe indeed. We've got 1K subscribers. Next season, hopefully we can increase that. 5K is the next.
Get those numbers up.
Yep, indeed. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Hit that like, hit the subscribe. And I'll see you all for a watch along if you're interested. And if you're awake at that time of the day, do come and keep me company and watch my misery, regardless of whatever the result might be. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.